Hi everyone, and welcome to Isms by Josie. This is the first video where I'm speaking directly to the camera so that you could all meet the voice behind the camera. Today I wanted to do a video of the unboxing of my wedding dress that I had sent to Wedding Gown Preservation Company. I'll leave the link in the description below if you choose to look it up and check it out for yourself. So I had taken my wedding dress, which was about $250 that I had purchased overseas. And along with it, I sent them my veil that came with the dress. I also sent them my crown and maybe my jewelry, I'm not too sure. And I also included my purse. So I may see things that I didn't mention, but you're allowed up to like 4 or 5 accessory pieces when you send them your dress. So waiting about 4 weeks into this process, I had a nightmare, and in my dream I was unboxing my dress, and when I pulled it out, it looked disgusting. It was a very antiqued yellowish dress, and the huge train that I have was cut off, and all the other accessories were missing. So I'm really excited to open this box and see exactly what they did and how they did it. And also, there's options on their website where you can custom the box to put your photo on there, to put your names, your wedding date. So that's exactly what I added on there. So we're going to see now what they did, and I'm really hoping that it's nothing like the dream I had. Let's check it out. I'm going to begin by showing you how the box came to my door. As you can see, it's quite clear where it comes from. Wedding Gown Preservation Company since 1913. That's a long time of preserving dresses. So unboxing this was pretty tough. I mean, it wasn't too heavy, but I had to get in the box to kick it out of there. It was a fairly secure packing, so I was impressed by that. And they even have this labeled fragile, handle with care. Not too sure if they actually abide by any of that stuff, but seeing that there's minimal damage on it, I guess they did follow what it said. So here is the context inside that shipping box, and it was a pretty decent feeling box. Like, it was legit. It wasn't flimsy at all. And it has this plastic handle so you can carry it around fairly easily, and they just have their company name engraved on it. And picking it up, it's pretty sturdy. So far, I'm impressed with the packaging. I'm just taking one open here. I guess this is where they're located, which is funny because their website has a place in New Jersey. I could be wrong though. But this is what's inside. First thing you see is the papers that I had filled out, and this is their 100-year guarantee. You can read through that if you ever do it. And this is what's inside the box. As you can see, I have our photo printed, and there is our names and date there. I could see already that this crown, the tip, is kind of bent, so that could be a problem. I mean, tiaras probably can bend whichever way before breaking, so hopefully that doesn't happen when or whoever needs to adjust that. Here I'm lining out the drop veil so you get to see a piece of that. And then obviously there's the dress in there. I have my garter, and at the bottom is my clamshell purse, so at least you get to see everything. This is what the dress looks like outside of the box. The crown, I didn't include the jewelry inside the box. I guess I should have. And like I said, the hoop skirt underneath. And look how long that train is. I mean, so they stuffed this entire dress inside that box, and it looks very clean. It doesn't look overpacked at all. Overall, I'm happy with what I got and the time waiting. And there you have it. That was the unboxing of my wedding gown preserved by Wedding Gown Preservation Company. Overall, I think it was great. I actually was hoping that I could throw in the jewelry pieces and the hoop skirt, but you really can't or shouldn't open it once you get it back. And everything is, as you saw, pretty tight in there. I highly recommend this company to preserve your wedding dresses. I'm looking forward to the day that I'll actually have to whip it out and, have use of it for maybe a renewal or perhaps to my kids. It's great knowing that there is the 100 years guarantee that it will not yellow. So rest assured, my nightmares should no longer come to fruition. Now on to the nitty gritty. So, what is it like to have a wedding during the pandemic? Let me tell you. Okay, so I'm a planner. Maybe not the perfect planner, but I'm a planner. I mean, it's not my profession, it's just what I like to do. So, I had everything, almost everything completed. Let's go back. So, I was engaged May 24th, 2019, and we established a wedding date of 7/25/2020. It was hard to come by. My husband's profession just doesn't allow for easy vacations. It has to be pre-planned, and it's like down a chain of command where, people pick weeks out of the year, and if it's taken, it's taken. And all I wanted was a summer wedding. So, after the engagement, we really had to wait till like December to solidify the wedding date. And that was nerve-wracking because I did not hire a coordinator, nor did I have the budget to include a coordinator. And at the time, I was doing project management, so I figured, what the heck, let me just try doing everything myself, and it was great. I mean, everything was mostly done. I did have to clean up some general wedding drama, but other than that, I think I was set and good to go. There were some minor details and final counts and final payments to make before the wedding. But around the end of March, when everything was shutting down, I wasn't too worried about it. So April came and things were just coasting until it was a month later, and now it was like, oof, nothing's opening. And that's a little freaky because, I've heard people, or at least, the venue, I've had multiple discussions with them, and they were telling me that, this person had to cancel, this person had to cancel, and, it was a reality that I was okay with. I've been very calm. I was a very calm bride-to-be the first couple months of the pandemic. So, May comes, and we're in the tri-state area. They were either on the beginnings of phase 2 or still in phase 1. New York was in phase 1, New Jersey was in phase 2. And again, I was still in contact with the venue, and the blunt discussion was phase 3 is supposed to happen, which would include some kind of indoor dining, and everything would be okay, and we'll let you know as soon as we know. So that was fine, but it wasn't until maybe June where I had to notify the 80 guests that I was having to let them know that, as far as I know, with the state and the venue, if things look up, we were still moving forward with the wedding. And I needed to know if people were still going to go. And my husband and I thought long and hard about how we were going to go about this, because regardless of the situation, we still wanted to get married. Obviously, in an ideal world, you want to have your perfect wedding and you want to have everybody there that you care about, and you want it to be a celebration. And the one day out of your lifetime, maybe, or one out of the few days in your lifetime where it's about you and you're celebrated, and you can have, whatever you say goes. I think everybody likes that. Some people get that more than one time. But our XYZ reasons were time, health, and would you consider that health? All right, well, let me get into detail. So it was really hard with my husband's profession to get the date that we have. Vacations are just a struggle to get. Even though he's allowed vacation, it's really hard to solidify the right dates for your vacation with everybody else picking at it, because there could only be, one person, taking that week at a time. So that was one. The other one was, again, with my husband's profession, it is not certain with these times if he would be able to put it off for a year and be alive to see it. So that was the other reason. And lastly, my reason was just because I'm 37 and I just didn't want to wait any longer. I mean, I have my wants coming after morality here, so I just wanted to get married before we had kids. And I've just been roaming the earth for 37 years. I don't even know if anything down there is working. So anyway, that was just my reason. And all these three reasons were good enough for us to move forward with or without guests. And we were just hoping that people would understand when we spoke with them. I just wanted to say that generally, for anyone that has or is having a wedding during the pandemic, that is your choice. You've obviously thought about all the consequences and all the drawbacks of having, your beautiful day affected by the pandemic. But, that said, I really hope that your guests also understand your reasons, or at least respect your reasons, and just, give you great blessings to your decision. I mean, weddings are the best, and it is the way to show somebody that you're the only one, and in some cases, legally, you need to do it, or religiously. So, moving on. After that first round of communication with my guests, I went from 80 to 30 people, and everything was still smooth sailing until the end of June, where we had to change from a full 6-hour wedding to just the 1-hour ceremony, because there was a delay in the phases. And there was a hiccup with entering phase 3, because of the other states that were ruining it for everybody else. So again, speaking with the venue, it was still touch and go, and they said they could let me know as early as 2 weeks before the wedding. And at this point, I was actually still calm, and I said, okay, you know, it's the rules. Like, I was abiding by the ones in New York, so I'm sure everybody has to buy the ones in New Jersey. So I had to send the second round of communications out to my guests saying that, we had to cut the wedding short because there's no indoor dining, no food. Very devastating. I think that was like one, other than getting married, I think that was the biggest thing that I was looking forward to. Just eating, stuffing my face, drinking, and then dancing a little bit. Please advise if you are going to be able to still go. We understand if you can't, all this jazz. It was like it was either a long text, a long email, or a long phone call. And we had to do that for every guest. And, it wasn't great because we made it a point to select people that shouldn't be going at all. And we had to let them know that, we really want you there, but we really can't have you there. And that's tough to do. And then obviously for the people that are iffy about going, like, you can hear it in their voice that it's more like you want to weed through, or at least listen to what they're saying, and you can hear the guilt, you can hear the disappointment, and trying to make them okay with it is not, it wasn't happening for me, clearly. I've had a number of conversations with people that didn't go that well, and it wasn't, nothing that I was saying or choosing to do was in spite of or in malice or anything. It was just the choices that we have, and this is what we're making. And obviously in an ideal world we'd have it differently, but it's not. And how do you tell people you're sorry about that? I mean, besides saying sorry, people just took it hard. I think they took it more hard than me. So that was a rough one. But shortly after, like the beginning of July, the venue did let us know that the owners of the venue were just gonna cancel everything because they weren't gonna deal with anything at this time. So I literally that same day, after I hung up, Googled every outdoor venue I could possibly find that would respond to me. I mean, I got a lot of no voicemail answering machines, and then I got a lot of voicemails that I left messages to that they didn't respond. And I've been looking from that day. I was looking for a week, and I probably got one response back, and that's the place that I ended up picking. And they were only able to do it on the beach on top of that. So I was like, oh, that's great, because I had an under the sea theme going on. So that worked out. So then I had to do a third round of communications to my guests. And they all said, yeah, that's probably better. So we did that. I signed the contracts that same week, that Friday, and come Monday, turns out maybe something happened, I don't know, but we're not allowed to have gatherings on the beach. I was, I'm out of state, so I don't know what they're doing over there. Obviously not abiding by rules, because now we're not allowed to have gatherings on the beach. So they offered Splice on their second floor. And if we wanted to dine in their outdoor dining afterwards, it's possible but not guaranteed. So that was an added on possibility. So I went from, a 45-minute ceremony to now a ceremony and possibly food. So the upstairs space, half of the room was glass walls that opened up to the outside. So for the fourth communication, I sent out to the 30 guests that we're just moved upstairs. It's a half outdoor room if anybody is concerned about it being indoor. But yeah, I had a lot of dropouts from that too. So I went from 30 people to 14 people. And I don't know if that was including my wedding party. I'm trying to remember. I don't think that was including my wedding party. But that was a little devastating just because the 30 people that said yes to my indoor ceremony, not just literally a week ago, didn't want to do it in the half room, like I said, a week later. But it is what it is. So we moved forward with the 14 people. And I think that ended up working out because although the beach setting would be nice, I was worried about walking and, getting sandy and just having it get hot. Like I bought paper fans, like these heart fans for everybody in case it got hot. And on my side, most of them are the type of people that cannot be sweaty. So I was really worried about those fans. But so that was the last round of communication that I had to set out about moving upstairs, and the 14 people were down and ready to go for it. So the last strings that I had to tie were I couldn't find my DJ after the pandemic, so I cut him and I found another one the same week that I found the venue. And funny enough too, they were also people that just took forever to respond back. I was getting calls back after the wedding. I mean, this is a short time, but it was like 3 weeks. I don't think I need you after 3 weeks when I specifically said July 25th. But anyway. And then I had to make up for what I lost. So my wedding party was a mess. It was a mess before the pandemic. It was a mess during the pandemic. And it was a mess literally the week of my wedding. And I had to rearrange people. I lost a bunch of people. And the funny thing is, the pandemic, I think, was a scapegoat. But I think it was just general wedding drama that ruined it. I mean, it was really nice to see regular wedding drama and not pandemic drama. But at the same time, it's like, wow, this is not fair that I'm getting the wedding drama on top of pandemic drama. But it worked out. And then the other things were I purchased or made about half of the decorations, and then my original venue was gonna use their decorations for the rest. And obviously, because I wasn't using them anymore, I had to make sure that whatever I got, I can still use, considering there's no dining situation, or there's a potential dining situation. It's just not guaranteed. That was interesting too. But I'll get into that. So, I bought a cake stand, but I'm not having cake because there's no food. So I went and made my own cakes. Not real ones, fake ones. I you know, YouTubed it, and I bought stuff from Amazon, and I, you know, shellacked together these things, and I made a 3-tier cake. That was fun because they went very well with my cake cutter and utensil things, and it had matching champagne glasses, and I'm like, there's hell to pay if I'm not going to be able to show these to my guests. So that was part of it. The other part of it was, yes, having to explain or find a place that could take less than 20 people to dine somewhere after the wedding. So since it was along the beach, it was at the shore, I said, how hard can this be? I mean, there's like restaurants all up and down the boardwalk. Unfortunately, the rules are that they can only have max an 8 top, meaning like 8 people to a table, and they could only have one of them, and then everything else could be 4s, 2s. So how am I supposed to keep together a group of less than 20 with an 8 top and then a 4 top and then whatever and a whatever? So and again, for some reason they can't reserve tables on a weekend. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me because the wait time was still a longer wait time than normal. They should have just closed off a couple of tables for a couple of hours for my guests, but you know, that was my worried thing. So I figured we'll just try our luck after the wedding and go downstairs and see if they have any tables available. And sure enough, I mean, we had a rehearsal there, and they were able to reserve a table for my wedding party since it was small. We had an 8 top and a 4 top, and they said, you know what, I think we can guarantee you some tables. They won't be together, but at least you'll be able to eat. So we were like, yes, okay, good. Because I don't know, you just can't have a wedding and not eat. I mean, I'm Filipino, and you just can't go to any party and not eat. That's not a party. Not a good time at all. I'm hungry right now. Not having a good time. So, you know, the rehearsal dinner was so much fun, such a relief. There was still like some wedding party drama with me and my feelings on how we got here. But I tried my best to just let it all go. I tried to do a month before the wedding to be calm with everything going on, but people weren't allowing that to happen. And then I said, okay, well, at least let me have a week before my wedding to be calm. And that definitely didn't happen. Like I said, scapegoat. But yeah, Friday I definitely said, c'est la vie, let's just drink and be merry. And that Friday ended up feeling like a engagement party, a shower, a bachelorette, a bachelor party, all and a rehearsal dinner all at one. It was such a great time. Everybody was there. Almost everybody was there from the wedding party. And it was balls to the wall. Within reason, because we're in a public setting. But yeah, so come the wedding day, it was fine. There wasn't a care in the world. It was a small group of people, and whatever happened happened. And I think the wedding day was actually the best time ever since the pandemic thing happened. I had no place for my phone. I made sure to silence that, set it aside, get prettied. I did my own hair and makeup. I didn't dress myself. I mean, I had to get laced up, but I did that, and I made sure that everything that I needed, I had. I made sure that my husband, whatever my husband needed, he had, and everybody else can just go, you know, good luck to you. because that's not my job anymore. But yeah, I mean, the moment arriving to the venue, it was only 45 minutes, but it was the best time. I had a wonderful DJ. The photographer and videographer were amazing, and was like pretty much my therapist throughout this whole pandemic issue. But then we were lucky, and we were able to dine downstairs after. So, I mean, we did have to shuffle back and forth between tables, but at least, like, we were all together and we had fun. And two benefits from our situation is, one, the funding that I had for this lavish 6-hour wedding at this would have been amazing venue. I obviously kept to spend on this on beach pub where my guests were able to have lobster. I unfortunately missed the last round of lobsters, so that was a pity. But I mean, what wedding can you go to that you can, well, I'm sure there are for those like bougie weddings, but my guests had lobster. I think I wouldn't be so like about it if I had one too, is all I'm saying. But it was a great time, and parts of that I won't forget ever. And I was really hoping that I would have that moment like that to kind of overshadow all the heartache of having the planning process during a pandemic happen. And then the next day, we all, one by one filed out of the hotel, and we went to Aruba a couple days later. And that was a story in itself, but this was my experience during the pandemic planning my wedding. If you have any questions, please let me know. I can make a video out of that. If you have any, if you want to know how I did X, Y, and Z. But yeah, there's a lot to say. I think there's this, I mean, I wish that there were more videos regarding people doing weddings during a pandemic, because there's like this bond there, whether you know them or not. Like, if you know or bump into a bride that planned a wedding during the pandemic, or even canceled one, there's this bond there, because it's unlike any other, because there's the general wedding drama that I definitely had before and during and actually after the pandemic and after my wedding. But then there's the pandemic stuff that just doesn't make it any better. So, wedding drama just kicks you to the floor if you actually pay attention to it. And then the pandemic just buries you in the sand after is how I would describe it. And I don't know how I got through it. I really don't. I mean, I definitely thank my husband for just being a great team player. I mean, it's one thing if you're confined in New York City, if you're confined in a box with your significant other for how many months, and you survive and you still like them. I mean, go get married. But it's another thing with all the extra that that shows you this is the person that you need to be with. And I've already known that, obviously, because we got engaged, and but this definitely solidified it, because I think there wasn't a dry eye since April up to my wedding concerning the pandemic or concerning wedding drama. general wedding drama. So, that's what I mean when I say it sucked, but it didn't suck. But if there was anything that I can say to anyone that is moving forward with their wedding, from now till whenever this thing is over, think out your choice, make your reasons, make them your own, and you don't need to prove anything to anybody. You don't need to have the wedding of your dreams. If getting married is more important than the wedding of your dreams, you don't need to prove that to anybody. You can settle for what you're allowed to have. I just went by the rules of the state. I can't be faulted or be made I called it a murderer, but I can't be pegged for just listening to state rules and moving forward with my wedding. I think anybody that is having a wedding and is going against the rules and basic social distancing and PPE wearing stuff, that's a bad person. But I had my less than 20 people wearing masks. They spread out the chairs so it looks like I had nobody there. And we clustered families together. So, my mom and dad together didn't obviously have to wear their masks all the time around each other. And I didn't have to wear my mask around my husband that much. Obviously, because whatever he's bringing home, I'm gonna get anyway, I guess. But see, these are choices that you make. Obviously, me having a wedding, I am risking getting sick, but that's the choice that I made, and I made sure that for the most part, I can lower that risk by wearing PPE and, distancing myself from everybody. Our photos are kind of hilarious. What would be standing side by side with friends, family, wedding party, there's a gap in my photos. There's a gap in my video, or gaps in my video, when I'm standing doing the vows stuff, he's here and I'm all the way over here and he's moving up a little bit, and I guess I move up a little bit just to say something in the mic, and then I step out again. So it's you adapt to the choices you make. And then as far as the guests go, I could not stress after being through hell since April. I would not stop saying, are you okay? Do you need anything? I really appreciate it. I would have kissed their feet at that point. But they all were very pleasant and said, look, we're good. We have our masks. We're not trying to do anything crazy to where we could get sick. And we're fine with coming. And that's what I needed. It's okay if you stay home. That's what I would want for you. And it's okay if you want to go, just as long as you're okay to be there. So, all that, you just have to take in and own it. Own your reasons, own the consequences, own the proper procedures to make sure that your guests are okay. I checked up on them right after I came back. Well, actually before I left Aruba, just because I was worried. But, everybody was okay. Make sure your guests are okay. And then, try not to let things get to you. I let things get to me just because I feel like I'm an empath. I'm a silent sitter for kind of thinking about everybody's thoughts and words. And it really got to me to where I couldn't even tell you. But yeah, don't do that. Just you need to have the blinders on and just leave it how it is. You know, say that you're doing this, be okay with your choices, and then just move forward after that. And then if you have issues with vendors and getting your money back, I could probably help you with that too, because I had to deal with that. But then be sure to try to get the month in, or at least the weekend of calm before your wedding, because it's very stressful. It's like you are putting on this full-on event. Well, you are putting on a full-on event, but you have to make sure you actually get there. You have to make sure everything is there. You have to make sure everything, rolls out to plan. Then you got to make sure that everybody's taken care of thereafter. And then you got to make sure that nothing bad happens after that. So, my experience during a pandemic, I mean, that was probably the longest rant about it ever, but it's a lot. It's a lot for something that ended up being so small, um, that I carry with a badge on me now, because I mean, it really kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things. I mean, they say that you get to see people's true colors during the process of planning a wedding, and then you get to see people's true colors during significant moments in life, i.e., the pandemic. So, just getting that two slaps of reality coming back from Aruba, I think I'm definitely a lot more laid back about how I let life affect me like that, or at least how I let people affect me like that, because I don't ever want to feel that way again. Like, I definitely had some, um, can't think of the name. Okay, can't think of it, but my heart was definitely, my blood pressure was up a bit, a couple of times before the wedding, to where it like I almost fell down. Like, it's not, that's just crazy. You shouldn't let anything like that get to you like that. So anyway, that said, so that was my experience, and I hope that anybody that's watching this has a way much better experience than I did. You know, because I wouldn't on my worst enemy. uh, but yeah, if you have any questions about anything concerning, just even before the pandemic, planning everything within a few months, or doing it on your own, or making the fake cake, or how to deal with people's responses after the wedding, or how to deal with your wedding party before, during, and during the wedding. Like, I can definitely help you out with that. Okay, so I'll leave this here. Maybe I'll do other videos of the full wedding, planning of the wedding, because it is by far the craziest thing. It is. I mean, Bridezilla is no joke. I mean, the only way to get what you want is to become the Bridezilla if you're given a certain hand. I didn't do that because I tried not to piss anybody off. And it definitely got me to have the issues that I had. So, and some people can't do it. Here I wanted to take a few snippets of the actual wedding day and also briefly go over some of the things that I changed, like this gobo that would have been used at the original venue. The other things that changed were the bridal shower, bachelor party, and rehearsal dinner. We had to nix most of them because of the lockdown. And then also the hotel stay, I had to cancel the wedding block and find new accommodations for the remaining guests of our wedding. And lastly, the groom's tuxedos and bridesmaids' dresses, including my own. Obviously, we weren't able to do any renting or tailoring or hemming that we needed to get everything nice and perfect. So I had to hem and unhem and my own dress. I don't know what the girls did, but I just told them to get it done, and the guys just wore whatever the heck they want. So here you can see the chairs spread apart. I had went ahead and made these sashes that held the paper heart fans that we may have used if it was outside on the beach. Here you can see how far apart the wedding party was from each other. And again, people using their own PPE while they're clustered together. I tried to salvage as much decorations from the original plans. So here is the card carriage with the matching champagne glasses, guest book, and pen. So I was glad I was able to use that. And then originally, the plans had lighting and backdrop, draperies, but here I had to adorn an archway with this wisteria garland that ended up looking pretty cute, like something you'd see in a grotto. And then I had a giveaway table with these message in a bottle filled with M&Ms that I personalized with our picture, thank yous, wedding dates, and last name. I thought those were cute, but at the same time morbid if you're eating them. And then here is the infamous fake cake that I had made for this wonderful 3-tier cake stand that I made the decorations for. And alongside that are the cake cutter and other utensil. And here are the giveaways that I made for everybody that I had done myself, with the exception of the wine and the galaxy roses. And I made the groomsmen's pocket squares with the bridesmaids' matching bouquets. And these are just some of them, but they really came out cute. And then, of course, I made my own, and I added some special pieces in there. And I was happy that I was able to use my high heel mermaid shoes. And lastly, my wedding nails that took months to design to get the right look that I was going for. Thank you for watching. This is my channel, Isms by Josie. Hope to see you again soon. Thanks. Bye.